on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am here at the Buddh International Circuit. You can see the cars parked right next to me. Of course, we've got the RSQ8, the RS5, the S5 as well as the RS7. I'm going to be driving the RSQ8. Later in the vlog, you're going to see a nice impression of this car on the Buddh Circuit. But first, let's see the e-tron GT because it is the launch of the e-tron GT today. So this is the Audi RS e-tron GT and this is the e-tron GT. This color is absolutely fantastic. Looks really very unique. The lights are beautiful. In fact, they do sort of a dance when you turn them on. And because this is electric, of course, the grille is not open at the front. Coming to the side, these wheels are actually 20-inch wheels. The size happens to be 245 20s and obviously aerodynamic bits here. Charging ports are there on both the sides, of course. And this one is priced at rupees 1.8 crores almost ex-showroom. So it's a sportback, looks really very nice. In fact, gives RS7 vibes as well. But the boot is not the biggest as such. Again, the lights are beautiful. Audi is doing a fantastic job with the lights. Continuous running lights. Underneath this car, of course, happens to be the Taycan platform, the Porsche Taycan. There, the boot is not that big as such. We're just going to press a button here to close it. There it goes, and there it shuts as well. Coming to the rear, actually it is decent size in terms of space for 4 people. But headroom is not the best for tall passengers like me. 6-footers are not really going to enjoy this car as such. At the rear, that is. And of course, you've got, yeah, you guessed it right, soft door close. No, it's not there. Probably it will be part of optional kit. Anyways, frameless doors. The window is down, of course. The dashboard design looks really very nice. It says e-tron GT right here. We are going to step inside, and the good thing is there are not too many screens. So here you've got physical controls for the air conditioning system, the climate control. It says e-tron right there, and the dashboard design is very attractive. I love the instrument cluster on this car. That's also pretty impressive. Flat bottom steering wheel. And a lot of controls here, drive select and whatnot. Now this car is actually powered by 93 kilowatt hour battery. Same is the case as the RS e-tron as well. This one produces 530 horsepower and 630 Newton meters of torque. Enough to take it from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.1 seconds. Top speed I think is almost 250 kilometers per hour, which is quick enough. Now this one of course gets more power. It produces 646 horsepower, making it the most powerful Audi model in production. Like I told you, Porsche Taycan underneath. This is going from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.3 seconds. Torque output 830 Newton meters, which is crazy, but you know, could have done with bigger wheels. Obviously 21 inches are part of optional kit. Being the RS model, it gets red seat belts and a lot of Alcantara here and there as well. Says RS right there. You see sort of a diffuser treatment. I don't think that is functional as such. Let's do one thing. Let's get inside. No doubt the interior of the RS model feels a little bit more special. Carbon inlays as such. e-tron written right there. Gloss black finishing. A lot of it. A lot of Alcantara. Seats feel really nice. RS badging everywhere. Red seat belts actually improve the performance. I'm just kidding. I love the seat quality. It's so amazing. And of course, the center console is quite functional. Gas selector and all. It's not actually a gas selector as such because it's a mode selector. It doesn't have gas. It's an electric car. So this is the interiors of the RS model. It says RS so that you don't forget which car you're driving, of course. And you have got Alcantara here, everywhere. Feels really nice and special actually, even on the roof. Yeah, so this is not actually Alcantara. They said they use recycled materials, which is also pretty awesome. You see this red stitching runs throughout the dashboard. What do you think of the dashboard design? I think it looks very impressive indeed. Okay, at the rear, again, you have the same treatment which continues. RS is written right there, which also projects e-tron GT on the road. In fact, space at the rear, like I was telling you, is decent enough. Okay, there is nothing written here, but it actually has this blinking thing going on. The seats, absolutely crazy comfortable, but headroom is a bit of an issue due to the sloping roofline, of course, for some person as tall as me. It's got a 3-zone climate control system, not a 4-zone as such. And you've got Alcantara here as well. Red colored brake calipers says Audi Carbide. And when you come to the front, the same thing, only thing is brake calipers are slightly bigger. So this car actually produces 598 horsepower, but on overboost it goes to 646 horsepower for I think a couple of seconds. The result is it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.3 seconds. And that's not all. It goes from 0 to 200 kilometers per hour in maybe around 11 seconds or so, which is very impressive, very fast. And you know what is the charging time of this car? It is just 22.5 minutes. If you charge it with a 270 kilowatt DC fast charger, which is not there anywhere in India. Heck, India doesn't even have 200. Forget 200. There's not even 100 kilowatt DC fast charger. With a regular AC charger, you're going to take 9.5 hours to charge this beast, or somewhere around 5.5 hours if you have a faster charger as such. But that's not important. What's important is there's no engine here. There's a frunk. As you can see, the frunk is almost useless because the charging cable is kept there. Anyways, the price of this particular car happens to be rupees 2.05 crores ex-showroom. quite expensive, 25 lakhs more for the RS model over the e-tron GT. However, performance is absolutely bonkers. It's a Porsche Taycan underneath. Now we are going to go and drive an RS model. All right, my excitement levels are through the roof. S5s, RS5s, RS7s, but we are driving the Q8, so we're going to come to that really quickly. The design of the car looks really very nice. This one has some blackened out elements which you can notice. This one does not. Okay, the RS Q8 obviously has a lot of RS bits. The lights are beautiful. I love it. You also get a headlight washer. 23-inch wheels. You can get the option of 21, 22 or 23. But the width of the tire remains the same at 295, which is obnoxiously big. Of course, you've got massive brakes as well, like really big brakes. You get RS moniker on the inside, red colored brake calipers, and it's a coupe design actually. Massive oval exhaust, a very RS trait. But actually these exhausts are smaller exhausts on the inside. However, Faisal Khan's fingers of truth are not happy with this fake thing happening there. The continuous light treatment, which also looks really very nice. Specifically in this blue color, it looks fantastic. Okay, we're quickly opening the car, and here you see frameless doors, really nice. Space is adequate at the rear. We'll do a detailed review of this car later. Interior looks fantabulous, like really very nice. Lot of attention to detail on this car. Meanwhile, what I particularly like is the way the seats have been done. Really awesome. This red stitching, RS badging here. Okay, there is no adjustable headrest at the front, but these are sports seats. It doesn't really need it. Quarter written, just so that the passenger does not panic when you corner really very hard. RS Q8 written right there. Let's open the boot of the vehicle, which means I press a button. Obviously, it gets a powered tailgate. Boot is actually big enough. Meanwhile, you get light here as well, and you can split forward the seat if you so wish. Do you really care about space and not about performance? Then you get the Q8. If you care about performance, RS Q8 is the one to get. What an interior. I really like this flat bottom steering wheel. I was saying fat. Okay, the instrument cluster is also very nice. Plenty of screens, which are a fingerprint magnet. And of course, you get a panoramic roof as well. Enough of all this. Let's do one thing. Let's start driving this beast right away. I love the wheels no matter whatever I say. Looking at the wheels of the car, I am in complete love. Like, look at those wheels and look at the size of the tires. Massive. Sounds loud as well. Okay, let's start driving. All right, we're all set to go. Turning on the car. There, it absolutely rolls to life. Straight away, we get into drive. And slowly, we are going to get ahead, which means putting the handbrake down and off we go. Air conditioning off, of course. I don't need air conditioning on the track because I want to go absolutely bananas. Let's get into dynamic for the drive select straight away. And RS mode on the cluster as well, which looks super duper nice. With obviously you get all this amazing tachometer too. So here we are on the track, driving on the Buth circuit. This is the RS Q8, which is an absolute bonkers car. I'm so excited. First lap is going to be easy. We're going to take it very easy. So there are actually only 4 cars on the track. There's an RS7 right in front, RS5 ahead of that, and the S5 happens to be the lead car. So we're just going to take it a little easy. Heads-up display looks fantastic. Looks really very nice. It feels amazing to be on this amazing racetrack today. Alright, so we're going to be starting a flying lap right away. This is the Audi RS Q8, which is powered by a 4-liter bi-turbo V8 engine, which produces an obnoxious 600 horsepower. Around the corners, it just does not feel like a freaking SUV. That is the level of grunt on offer. Absolutely pulls ahead with so much enthusiasm. There is so much grunt on offer. And of course, this car has amazing handling also, considering the fact that this is 2.3 tons of weight. Now, all this is possible largely because Audi has fitted in a lot of electronic tech on this car. I might say a lot of electronic. Look at, okay, the car gets a little understeery. Oh my god, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.8 seconds. This has got a 12-volt start-stop system also. Not really, actually 12 kilowatt starter generator. Obviously, it has mild hybrid tech, 48-volt anti-roll bars as well. Flat on the accelerator. This will easily cross 250 kilometers per hour, pay some more money for the dynamic package, and it will hit a top speed of 306 kilometers per hour. We are doing 200 kilometers per hour. You can see the bonkers acceleration is absolutely pulling ahead. Fantastic acceleration, hard onto the brakes, really very sharp on the brakes. Only a little bit on the top point now. I feel the brakes could have been slightly better, but fabulous brakes. Just look at, okay, around the corners, I actually load onto the accelerator very fast. It pulls so nicely. So when you compare it to the Urus, this one is 41 horsepower down. But the good news is it costs 1.08 crores less. The brakes are fantastic. It is really mind-blowing. The steering is really very precise and nice. And around the corners. This is such a joy. Just look at the way it goes. You know why? Because Audi has tuned the chassis beautifully well. Okay, of course, you know what? A lot of the Audi cars are sharing this engine, actually the group cars. So the Urus has the same MLB Evo platform. It has the same engine as well. I can manually take control of the gears. I don't need to. It's an 8-speed torque converter gearbox, which is absolutely fast with shifts. Just look at the way body roll, non-existent. In fact, it doesn't even have any understeer. That's how beautifully set up it is, which is fabulous. Here, onto the throttle. My goodness, the way this car handles is just something unbelievable for a car of this weight. Now it's got electric anti-roll bars, it's got torque vectoring, it has also got rear wheel steering, 4-wheel steering. In fact, at speeds up to 60 kilometers per hour, the rear steering turns by 5 degrees in the opposite direction of the front wheels to make it more agile, and after you cross 60 kilometers per hour, it turns in the same direction as the front wheels by 1.5 degrees. Just makes it super duper agile. It's got quattro, of course. Quattro system works beautifully well. In fact, it's like 40 split at the front, and at the rear you have got 60% torque going, but it can channel up to 85% of the torque to the rear wheels alone. And that's the reason this car doesn't have any understeer nature. It has sort of an oversteer nature. Okay, this guy is braking really very early. We could definitely go much faster. In fact, this car is so fast, it has set the lap record, I kid you not, it has set the lap record on the Nürburgring for the fastest production SUV. And oh my god, what an experience of driving this absolute beast of a machine. It has such a great balance, which is very surprising. Here, onto the gas I get, it just doesn't hesitate, goes beautifully well. Gearbox is also very fast shifting. Only thing is, when you're in the dynamic mode now, then the gearbox is, dare I say it, it's a very jerky as such, but the way it pulls speeds, absolutely crazy. Fantastic. Okay, it's starting to rain right now, a little bit of rain as well, which means I'll back off a bit. Easy on the brakes, not an issue at all. Brakes work fantastically well. He is very hard onto the brakes. That's the reason his lights are actually blinking. And take a wide line into this corner. I can't believe this Q8 puts a massive smile on the face. Sounds really nice as well. I don't know if fake sounds are coming or not, but it sounds really nice. Price of this car, 2.38 crores. Meanwhile, the price of the Lamborghini Urus is 3.46 crores. So 1.08 crores for the Lambo badge, which is quite a lot more just for the badge, because the cars are very evenly matched. Like, both of them are so similar. Body roll is so well contained. It's able to take in speeds with a lot of ease as well. What a fantastic machine. Really enjoyable to drive on the track, this Audi RS Q8. Now, compared to the regular Q8, this one actually costs 77 lakhs more. There is the SQ8 as well, which is not on sale in India, unfortunately, which I think gets a diesel engine, but this 4-liter engine, amazing. This engine, this chassis, all of it is actually shared with the Bentley Bentayga, the Porsche Cayenne, and of course the Lamborghini Urus as well. 41 horsepower down on the Urus. You can't really make the difference out as such. So pinpoint accurate, the way it's able to point its nose in the direction you want. It has got obviously limited slip differential, a sport diff, a lot of tech to make sure there is ample amount of grip. Specifically, the tires have so much grip on offer. Now, fuel efficiency, you would not really care about it, but because this is a mild hybrid, it can actually go on battery power alone for 40 freaking seconds, and that is obviously if the battery is charged, which is rarely the case as such. Listen to the sound, okay?
Not to use your brakes in the pit lane. Oh, that's a very good point, sir.
Yeah, very nicely it picks up pace. What a fantastic machine. So this is the Audi RS Q8. I will definitely drive it on the road to give you a better experience of this car. But as I see it, Audi has done a phenomenal job of making a very budget-friendly SUV, performance SUV. Now, I'm saying it's budget-friendly, it's not actually, it's very expensive. But look at it this way, the Lamborghini Urus costs obnoxiously a lot more money. But think of it as an Audi RS Q8 without a Lambo badge, or a Lamborghini Urus with an Audi badge, and then it starts to make sense all of a sudden. Okay, let's get out of here because I'm feeling so hot, but the car is super duper hot as well. So of course there are a lot of Audi e-trons, but I am going in this, the e-tron GT, rather sorry, the e-tron Sportback. I wish I was in the e-tron GT. That car looks gorgeous, but we are driving the Audi e-tron Sportback, which is very different. Baki, it's the same as the regular e-tron. And we're going to do some slalom tests just to understand the handling of this car. All right, off we go. Straight away, electric power, obviously good amount of torque. Steers really very nicely for an electric car, which is really heavy. Of course, you're going to hear noises from the front wheels because there is torque steer on offer. Accelerate brutally well. around the corners, brakes are really very nice, but obviously makes some amount of noise because the wheels, there is too much grunt going. Although this is Quattro, of course, you see around the corners, I want to get into the gas hard and I manage that, but here it's going to make a lot of noise, a lot of understeer. That is tremendous amount of understeer, and because of the understeer, obviously traction control is going to kick in. I've kept traction control on for the moment. This is a little confusing, but still fun enough. And from here we go, brakes onto the gas, a little bit of sound, and off we go. It's actually quite good for electric car, really brisk in terms of acceleration, really nice handling as well for something this heavy, and steering is also good enough to use. And why is she shouting on the radio? So now this is done, the e-tron experience around curves and slaloms and whatnot. So we're heading back to the track. Car is very impressive actually, the e-tron, but I think the price is on the high side. And why be the first mover? I honestly feel that. Aram se wait karo, prices will come down, battery tech will improve, you will get more range, more performance and all that. And obviously this being a CVO costs a lot of money, and when they start assembling in India it will be absolutely obnoxious. There's nothing taking away from the fact that the electric really accelerates very fast. People talk about sustainability. Of course electric seems to be sustainable, but you know, the way the batteries are destroyed and all the things which go in making a battery, well, that's still not very sustainable. So don't just jump on the sustainability bandwagon. I definitely agree, car is fantastic, priced very high as such. And in terms of my favorite electric car right now, it's actually the Jaguar I-Pace. Dynamic for the win. There the fake sounds come. No, you're no V8 baby. Don't try to pretend like one, because it does everything so well. This Audi feels better than the EQC for sure, without a doubt. The EQC's ground clearance issue is a bit of a hassle. I am the only person who has come today who has turned off the air conditioning completely and is sweating like a mad person, because obviously I need to talk to the audio. Now you must have felt that thoda bahut audio kharab hua tha Q8 mein bhi or isme bhi. Actually the problem was the instructor na, that person was giving a lot of instructions throughout, and ye walkie talkie se आवाज आ रही थी. मैंने वॉल्यूम कम करके रखी थी, फिर भी बीच बीच में थोड़ी बहुत आ रही थी, मैं चिल्ला रहा था एकदम. But unfortunately can't evade that because they have to give instructions, and then बीच बीच में swapping cars, overtaking and all that. That is the reason why the audio wasn't the best, but hopefully someday we are going to book this full circuit, get 10 freaking fast cars and do a lot of laps here. So guys, this was a nice and short fun day at the Budh International Circuit, driving a couple of Audis and also seeing the e-trons, GTs actually, e-tron GTs. हर चीज़ का नाम e-tron रख दे तो confusion हो जाता है. I had a lot of fun, but I think that, you know, S5 leading all the RS models doesn't make sense because the S5 is a lot slower. So could not really drive the RS models to the full potential. Still, it was a good experience, and hopefully I will drive all the RS models along with the RS e-tron GT as well on the road soon. तब बताता हूँ कैसा लगता है. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.